Great pizza starts with great pizza dough. I'm sharing my prized recipe with you today. Let's get started. We start with 1 cup of bread flour. Put it in your sifter, and to that you're going to add 1 teaspoon of sea salt and 1 cup of all-purpose flour. 1 cup bread flour, 1 cup all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon sea salt. And you're just going to sift that together to mix everything up so everything is nice, no lumps or anything. And then we're going to take 7/8 cup of water and heat it up to 104 degrees, and add to that 3/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast and give it a swirl. Once that's all mixed up, we're going to add 1 teaspoon extra virgin olive oil and swirl that around as well and set that off to the side. Now we're taking our flour mixture. This recipe is so easy. Make a little well in it and pour our warm water mixture into it. And we're going to mix that up with a spoon for just a few seconds to get the water all soaked up by the flour. And once that's happened, we're going to get a little flour on our hand and start kneading it with our hand. Just working it for about 3 minutes. After that, you just want to set it off to the side and let it rest for 15 minutes, and then put it into your KitchenAid mixer with a hook, and you're going to knead that with a bread hook for 6 minutes. Once you've done that, you want to take it out of the bread mixer and put it on a nice floured surface and roll it around, and then divide it in 2 halves. This recipe makes 2 pizzas. They don't have to be perfectly weighed halves. Great thing about pizza is that different sizes, different shapes, are all part of the experience. And get some flour on that, and then you can see how I'm kneading that inward, just turning it under and keep turning it under and stretching that gluten and make a nice ball. The surface of the dough should be dry, won't stick to your hands or anything. I get a glass container, take a little flour off my working surface, and I want to put that in there, and we're going to let that raise for 4 hours. Do the same for the second crust. Now you want to cover that up. Now you can either let it raise at room temperature for 4 hours, or leave it raising in the refrigerator for overnight. Once it's ready to go, you want to have a nice floured surface. Take your dough out of your bowl, get some flour on it so it's not sticky. Flour is your friend, and then you're going to start working it from the center outward. You can see I'm moving around trying to keep it round. Perfectly round is nice, but it doesn't have to be that way. Again, it's artistic or artisanal. And there I am, just working it with my fingers. Once it gets to be a large enough size, I flip it over a couple of times. I'm happy with it. I'm going to start flipping it with my hands and just stretching it out, pulling it. See how my fingers are just moving away from each other and just stretching it ever so slightly. The gluten allows the flour to stretch. And once it gets big enough, then I'm going to use my knuckles and just keep flipping it, tossing it in the air like I'm juggling almost, and stretching and stretching, constantly stretching. And you can see it's getting bigger and bigger, and pretty soon you'll almost be able to see my fingers through the dough. That's what that bread flour will do for you. It'll make it nice and stretchy. The gluten is really high content in bread flour. This dough is ready for some toppings, then out to the oven for some delicious pizza for friends and family. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Hope you subscribe to my channel, follow my other recipes, and just look at this beautiful wood-fired pizza from your homemade dough. Thank you. Enjoy.